Dr. Markandaji, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me express my profound happiness in being with you this afternoon and also express my gratitude to the hundreds of young people showcasing their innovative and creative ability to address to an agenda to which we all are so well aware and so well concerned. I stand before you as a Vice-Chancellor who is very much worried about tomorrow because we are breathing air which is of not the quality which we all require. We are also having tremendous amount of problem of water scarcity, water security in our country. And therefore, I am concerned, and I am sure each one of you must be concerned about future. The Sustainable Development Goals, those were put together by the nations of the world, were of course a blueprint to create a better world than the world in which we live today. And by implementation of these Sustainable Development Goals over a period of 5 to 10 years, it was thought that the world will be 10 times better than what it was in 2015. But situation is still quite alarming. And I must say, I was greatly benefited by listening to Professor Sawant, Professor Ashok Kumar, as well as my very dear friend Dr. Markandaji in this very important panel discussion. And therefore, in the next 17 minutes, my job would be to invigorate your mind to what can be done, how it should be done, and how we can make our sustainable development goal as a major plank and parcel for creating environmental sustainability about which we all are so well concerned. Let me tell you that I was here in the Patel Chess Institute way back in 1995 when I was the principal of Delhi College of Engineering. I was suffering from asthma at that time. In fact, I suffered with asthma for 20 years during all my days at IIT Delhi as well as here at Delhi College of Engineering. And no one less than Dr. Patel himself examined me that time. They were saying that you have to live with asthma. All we can do is to identify the allergen and you take care of them. So I wrote a letter to God Almighty that either you call me back and create in me a scientist who will design the medicine for taking care of asthma, or you better cure asthma so that I can continue to work. Believe it or not, in 1998, 3 years thereafter, my asthma disappeared and I stand before you for the last 22 years as a person free from asthma. It's possible only if you go back to nature. And the medicine which I got, I'm sure, has come from the nature. And therefore, the foremost thing which I wish to prescribe to you to create environmental sustainability of the kind which we require, and of course we can work out environmental sustainability index now as an indicator. The prescription which I wish to prescribe to you that all those who participated in this World Environment Summit henceforth must echo the word sustainability in the corridors wherever they are. Whether it is the corridor of a university, the classroom, the research laboratory, the research organization, the workplace, or in a corporate house, everywhere we have to echo the word sustainability and explain to our friends what it means to us and what it means to them and what it means to all of us together. The second point which I thought is very, very important is that we all must understand the value and worth of a new science. This is the science with which the mankind initially began its exploration of science. This is called science of nature. Unfortunately, we drifted away from science of nature to natural sciences, physical sciences, and created all kind of trouble for ourselves. Chemistry of science of nature, which was to create a sustainable habitat and sustainable living for all species on planet Mother Earth, suddenly became chemistry that created all problems for us, including the carbon dioxide emission and including washing away all the chemicals through the industrial water to the river Yamuna here or Ganges over there and create the havoc of the kind which we are faced with today. And therefore the science of nature must now be the pursuit for which the scientists, not only of this great country, but scientists throughout the world must submit to. What science of nature does? Science of nature inspires you to integrate all sciences together, and understand how nature works and how decode that secret of sustenance, and then create the layers of sustainability and live a happy life for yourself. Our forefathers, of course, assured for themselves a healthy life of 100 years. In the many of our scriptures, they say that Rishi Munis have lived maybe for few hundred years. But 100 years was something which was achievable as a healthy life, where you could walk, where you could listen to the divine music of 200 years without any artificial gadgets. You were able to see with clarity God Almighty when you go to the temple or the beauty of this Mother Nature, without using spectacles of the kind which we are so much accustomed to today. Jivesu Sarda Satam was, of course, something which was assured. But it was assured only because the science of nature was working everywhere, whether it was the food which you eat, whether the water bodies which you pray and manage and clean, whether it is the environment to which you sustain your healthy life. And I've seen that happening in my own village. Almost everybody was attending life of 100 years. I have not seen any fire at Samsan in my village during the time I was there, because the life was sustained on the science of nature. Everybody was having a happy and healthy life. There was no unemployment at that time, surprisingly. Go back to the same village, everybody is asking for employment. Look at the water body of that village, you find that you can't even wash your hands, let alone drink it. You look at the quality of air in that village, you find it's very heavy, it contains tremendous amount of particulate matter, as well as, in fact, the volatile gases which are killing people much earlier. Many of them who were my classmates have already gone to God. Some of them who are surviving, they look much older than me, primarily because the health care and the health of the environment together are destroying our people. This is the agenda. Question is, how do I go about it? As a Vice-Chancellor of a technological university, which I was here in Delhi Technological University, I asked myself, how can I serve to the cause of environmental sustainability? Believe it or not, when we set up the School of Management in Delhi Technological University, and we wanted to do it because the Faculty of Management of this great university, many of you may not know, was in fact created by a professor from Delhi College of Engineering, Professor Das Gupta. He was the first dean. We lost management from Delhi College of Engineering around the start of early 60s, but we wanted to regain it. So when we established School of Management in Delhi Technological University, I said we will work differently than the schools of management elsewhere. The PhD, which I myself guided, was on supply chain management, to understand in those days what can supply chain management do to create a better world for us. And today we understand its meaning much better than in the days when the university was set up in 2009-10. But the second very important area which we touched was remanufacturing. And it is where we begin to take care of the e-waste which we create. By remanufacturing, you don't destroy the waste or burn it the way you are burning today to reclaim whatever little material you have inside. You start recycling and reusing many of the components and systems of electronic devices and put together a new innovative device on the strength of partly utilizing the components which have already served the life. When you throw away your mobile, lot many components inside are still so good that they can be utilized, and they can be utilized for remanufacturing. The power supply can be reutilized, many of the ICs can be reutilized, many of the capacitors can be reutilized, many of the small systems can be reutilized, and by doing this you create a better world compared to the world today. And believe it or not, this doctorate in remanufacturing became very important. Let me also say on water, which is a very important actually agenda today in our own university, Amity University of Gurugram. I'm processing every single drop of water in my university and recycling and reusing it also. All the toilets in the administrative block, academic block, the hostel, even the residence of the Vice-Chancellor, they receive the treated water and it's serving the purpose. The entire greenery which I am maintaining in the campus is also because of recycling of the treated wastewater. And we are also reprocessing, in fact, the entire waste which we have, green waste included, and this way, higher level of sustainability cause is being served in the university. It becomes a learning experience for the students as well as for the professors. But we are also conducting very serious research to how to go about solving the problem of the country as a whole. And very recently, the nanoparticles, nanoscience and technology has a tremendous amount of promise for water treatment. Our nanoscience group discovered that the nanoparticle-based sewage treatment plant can do wonders compared to the previous technology. So we have got a big project from Government of Haryana to rejuvenate the water body of the village, Bilaspur, where we are implementing this new STP which we have already installed over there. And I have got some pictures to tell you how it looks like. This is the village pond which was very dirty, which was looking full of algae on the top, and entire wastewater of the village, Bilaspur, was going into this water tank. The task was how do you clean this water, but also ensure clean the entire wastewater coming from the village to the pond. And we took this job on ourselves and established, in fact, a water treatment plant. I'm showing you a few pictures how we went about doing it. And today, of course, this water treatment plant is ready with installation, and we would be able to demonstrate that new technology can treat water and create fresh water reservoir in the village of Bilaspur. If we can do this here, we can do this in hundreds and thousands of water bodies which we have there. We have also to learn how we rejuvenate the rivers which have dried down in our country. We have to do macro as well as micro analysis to understand that and go in a systematic manner how we can do it. Let me finish by saying that the air quality is another area for creating layers of environmental sustainability. In Delhi and NCR region, we are more worried about it. Our meters often cross 999 microgram per cubic meter. On that day, when you touch 999 here in capital city of Delhi, I asked myself, what would be the air quality in New York? What it would be in London, Birmingham, where I have studied myself for my doctorate, and what it would be in Munich. And surprisingly, at all these four places, the meter was showing less than 20 microgram per cubic meter. And I know Birmingham was most polluted when I was doing my masterate, as well as doctorate, and that is why I picked up asthma there. Go back to the same city today, and you read that the air quality is less than 20 microgram per cubic meter. If they can do it in London, New York, Manhattan, and also Birmingham and Munich, what prevents India to do it? You have to ask yourself, what have they done? Can we do it here? Can we do it even better? Can we do it more cost effective and do it faster than what they have done over there? These are the questions. They must knock in the minds of all those who are concerned about environmental sustainability and devise solutions to achieve this goal. In my own university, at least, I am now much better than what I was in Delhi Technological University, because the quality of air in Amity University, Gurugram, is at least twice better than Gurugram and 3 times better than what you have here in Delhi. And we have achieved this by creating a campus which is environmentally sustainable. We got the Green Building, US Green Building Council certified us as a platinum certified LEED campus, because the air quality and water quality and our concern for sustainability. I told you rightly that nobody knows about these goals once you go outside the university. Ask people on road, they will have total ignorance about the sustainable development goal, and that is why the Niti Aayog, along with the Dr. Dwivedi of Dainik Bhaskar, with the chairman, took up a challenge to call it as Sustainable Development Goal Chopal, so that चर्चा हो. जब चर्चा होगी तो आपको पता लगेगा कि hunger has to be removed, poverty has to be taken care of, education has to be seen as a major vehicle for sustaining a healthy life, and a life which would give you an assurance of full of happiness as well as employment. When you will look at sustainable air, you will have agenda then to work out for your country. I want this to be a movement to be from hereafter. I want this summit to conclude by saying that everybody who goes from here becomes a champion rather than an ambassador for the cause of implementing sustainable development goals and creating environmental sustainability beyond the limits of thinking of the people who initially realized that bright future for the mankind is around the corner. But then I said, a radical departure in our approach from physical sciences to the science of nature and submitting to the cause of sustainability everywhere is what is required. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, realizing that the time is short and we have 15 minutes left still for the session to conclude, it could be possible for us to take a few questions from the audience, just to give you a chance to interact with my learned panel, including me, and thresh out our mind as to what can be done to achieve a bright future for implementation of sustainable development goals and achieving the layers of environmental sustainability beyond the borders which we can. So any bright questions which you want to thresh out with Professor Ashok Kumar, Professor Samant. Professor Samant already told you that landfill is not the answer, and we are landfilling in Delhi very much. Answer is converting waste into gold or waste into wealth or waste into energy. Dr. Ashok Kumar told you that e-waste, of course, is a great opportunity for you to reclaim it and reclaim the precious metal, but I would also add that recycle and reuse it so that you minimize the e-waste from 50 million tons per year as of today to something less than that. So any quick questions which you want to really ask on environmental sustainability and sustainable development goals, raise your hands and I will ask you and address that question to any one of the panel's members. Anybody here? Madam there, yes please.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर। ग्रीन हाउसेस बनाए तो क्या सर हमारी नीड इतनी ज़्यादा बढ़ गई कि वो किसी इंसान की लाइफ से भी ज़्यादा हम वो अभी तक इतना कंटिन्यूसली सर चल रहा है, हम उनको यूज़ कर रहे हैं, प्लांट को उनको ग्रो कर रहे हैं ग्रीन हाउसेस में, तो सर वो इतनी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है कि इंसान की लाइफ कुछ मायने नहीं रखती, क्योंकि टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है सर। हम ऐसा कुछ स्टेप भी तो उठा सकते हैं कि हम उसको कम कर सके ग्रीन हाउसेस को, तो कि उससे हमारा टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा ना हो। और एसीज हैं तो सर एसी हम इतना यूज़ करते हैं आज के टाइम में, टेक्नोलॉजी बढ़ी, हमने इम्प्रूव किया, ये बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट सर बेसिकली जो एजुकेटेड पीपल है वो ज़्यादा करते हैं, वो ऑफिस में जाएंगे तो भी उनको एसी चाहिए, वो घर आ रहे हैं तो भी उनको ऑल नाइट एसी चाहिए। बट सर फिर टेक्नोलॉजी बढ़ी, हमें आया ही अच्छी बात है, तो क्या हम इनको कोई स्टेप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि आप इतने टाइम से ज़्यादा इस चीज़ को यूज़ नहीं कर सकते, या कुछ ऐसा स्टेप जो इसको
Very good. The question is straightforward.
So much heat.
No, sir.
And so all is created by us, by creating artificial life. And we were used to live in nature, and with the tree, plants and the structure of the houses, open area, we used to keep ourselves cool. With the dresses also, dress materials also. So we have to see that how we can go very closer to nature and not to use artificial thing to keep little bit comfort, but that is damaging and that is creating discomfort or difficulties and problems, and in general damaging the whole ecology and environment. So definitely I fully agree with her, and I think all of us should see that how we can change ourselves. Can we limit? No, nobody can put restriction on you. Because now people have money, they will buy AC, they will go for more comfort, they will travel in AC, and we have become used to. But how to change ourselves is in our hands.
Very good.
Do it properly.
Very good. There are various ways. Either you change yourself, don't use much water, don't use much energy, don't eat too much, don't burn too much of coal, emissions will be controlled, but there could be several other ways, alternative pathways on which you march ahead with growth and development and at the same time take care of climate change. Any other questions?
I definitely don't agree with what you are saying. Technology has given us to increase the days of standard of living. The air conditioning, everything is there. That's not the question, that's not the answer. The answer is we have to provide incentives to use the technology we have to recycle, and give incentives for the industries and businesses how not to fill landfill, using the waste, convert that into products that recyclable. You can't ask consumers not to use, not to eat, not to reduce. That's not right. Technology is there for our better life. So,
New technology.
Ozone depleting substances, carbon dioxide, H2S,
ozones. All these issues are leading to global warming. Now, for example, 50% responsibility of the global warming goes to the carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Where does it come from? It is from more consumptions of fuel. If you reduce the consumption of fuel, you can. Now it comes to the individual. For example, the simplest example I'll give you, how to conserve energy. You put off the lights, the house 1 hour early when you don't really require it. You can save electricity, meaning you can save about 5 or 10 kg of the combustion of a coal. It is a direct relevance. If you cook a food in a pressure cooker, if the science is known to the people, after the first whistle, you lower down the flame.
Very good.
The temperature inside more than 100 degrees of steam is good enough to cook rest of the food. But people blow 1, 2, 3, 4 whistles. And how much the fuel you consume? So reduction in a consumption of fuel, number 1. Then combustion of fuel with the most efficiency at a reduced temperature, which will lead into reduction of the NOx formation. So these are all integrated decrease in water holding capacity of the soil. So take care of a carbon. That's why we talk of carbon footprint. So these issues are very, very important. People at a doorstep and individual level have to understand all this.
Very good. The organizers
So
are
these issues are
telling,
necessary for conservation.
organizers are telling me that no more questions. But if these questions have been asked to, why, suppose I would have asked, give this challenge to my scientist in Rajiv Gandhi Technological University. Can you design a pilot plant where I send carbon dioxide from this side and comes out hydrogen from the other side, and carbon and oxygen they break. They said, how can hydrogen be created from carbon dioxide? I said, this is what the Vice-Chancellor's vision, let's try to do it. And believe it or not, we produced a pilot plant, you send carbon dioxide from here, other side comes hydrogen as a fuel, which is a clean fuel, will not create carbon dioxide problem. From the other side, you create carbon dioxide to biodiesel and also to methanol. So a lot more can be done on the strength of technology, and we need to take recourse, and also incentive for promoting sustainability as a national mission, as a national cause need to be done. And by doing this, we would be able to assure a better future than what we should. I think the topic is very, very interesting. You all would have been discussing whole day. I can assure you, I can keep you busy whole day in searching questions and providing better answers. But now, the time is to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity to be part of this great panel on environmental sustainability and development goals. Thank you.